speaking of recruiting, you look at the roster and a lot of new faces on the team this year. And talk about thought process after the last season. I mean, nobody wants to be watching the games from home, and that's something that you guys had to do. I'm sure there was motivation and just bringing in the right players. Do you feel like that you've got the right players to kind of take that next get back to postseason ball and all that good stuff?
Right. I mean, we went to the CC2A tournament last year, and it was good to be back in that tournament, to taste that, feel that, to be able to achieve that last year. I think a lot of that had to do with our home record being 12-3 at home. We certainly took care of business last year in Lumberjack Arena in front of our fans, so we're excited about that accomplishment. It's about being able to win on the road. That's where we came up short last year. But we did make the tournament. Our returners now know what that feels like. They'll have that experience going into it for this upcoming postseason. And so we're excited about that. Over the summer, it's last spring, obviously we did a lot of work with our returners. They did a nice job getting their bodies bigger and stronger, working on their skills, player development all through the spring and summer. These guys had workouts, so they're ready to go. Our new recruits, it was quite a recruiting class. There are some special players on this recruiting class, and we have certainly have some depth, some big numbers in a recruiting class. We have 5 freshmen we're very excited about. I think there's 2 of them in particular that could be impact freshmen for us right now. We're certainly going to give them the opportunity to prove it that they can. They're going to have the ball in their hands, and they're going to be able to showcase their young talents. And we're excited about our freshman class. And then we have a couple of junior college players that have California JUCO experience, which says a lot. I think they'll be able to come in and certainly help us. And then the 3 D1 transfers, and I'm sure you guys are going to ask about it here shortly, but they certainly have the firepower offensively to be able to do some damage and compete in this conference. And it's just a matter of making sure everybody understands what a good shot is, how to share the basketball, and specifically play some defense.
Do you feel you're happy to have 3 D1 transfers, but at the same time, how's that different? I mean, they're coming from different programs. I'm sure you're happy to have them, but how is it different from a coach?
Well, it's a good story. It's a heck of a recruiting story, really. Rob Lewis came up here first from Texas Southern. He was a transfer from Texas Southern. On his recruiting trip, he saw the UC San Diego win at home where Amari hit the buzzer beater. So certainly, if he didn't like that, then so long to him. But he was impressed with that, and he signed with us, and that became a trickle down or a tidal wave effect, really, and getting our other 2 players, Rayshawn Scott, who was a teammate with him at Compton High School back when they won a championship when they were in high school 3-4 years ago. And then that led to Leland Green from University of Hawaii, who was also another kid from Compton who they played AAU ball together. So they all 3 transferred, and we got ourselves quite a package.
Is Rayshawn a guy that can really take a game over? I mean, he can shoot the ball, just this size. Is he somebody that can make that immediate impact?
Yeah, he's a multifaceted player. He could certainly, he's a very experienced player, Florida Gulf Coast transfer, played some big games. He's a big-time player. He can make the right decisions. He can score the ball all 3 levels. He really talks well on defense. He's a mature player. So we're looking forward for his progress here as far as being a teammate on this basketball team.
With the seniors back, the recruiting class, I'm sure there's a good chance of bringing in the rotations. I mean, how much would you expect, out of these players this season?
I think number 1, it's our returners, and Jackson Strong certainly is a focal point and a captain of our basketball team, and he really leads us on and off the court. And I think he's done a great job this fall semester in cultivating what we do in this basketball program, our standards, on our expectations on what we do, and he has certainly led the way. And I think our new returners will follow, and we'll learn the system. And obviously, we have a high octane basketball program here. We always have. Offense isn't really our concern so much, other than it is defensively. So we're going to start today. We're really excited about this first day of practice, and obviously concentrate on defense, making that a staple, something that will be a backbone to this basketball program this year. Is we're going to be very committed to defense, and if we've got 5 players playing good defense together, we feel like we get big time stops throughout the possessions of each game.
For the coaching staff, especially for you, was this offseason where you said enough is enough, or is it just everything fell into place for recruiting wise? I mean, you look at it and just the stats and everything else, and if these players continue to hear what they did, in other places, I mean, this could be something special.
Could be something special. We're very optimistic, but I think that comes from what is really happening here at Humboldt State. You take a look at what's happened here, not only my recruiting class, but the university in general. We have a new president, we have new vice presidents, we have a new dean of students, we have a new athletic director, we have a new sports information director. The list goes on of this infusion of the energy that we have on this campus. The focus that we have towards athletics is very refreshing for somebody who's been here for 30 years. I'm very excited about it. My recruiting class, obviously I'm excited about that, but when you take a look at the overall picture, our athletic department is full steam ahead right now, and it's exciting times, not only for this season, but the future.
And with these practices leading up for the exhibitions and the first game with the new faces, how important is it to kind of just see, picking the players, what rotation, who fits in where, how important will these practices be?
That's a good question, Manny. I mean, it's something that I think I've made mistakes in the past, and it's something I need to put my foot down and say, hey, here are top 7, 8 guys. It's their job to lose that and establish roles early instead of doing the whole platoon system for a month and a half and seeing where the chips fall. I think we need to establish roles early, something I'm committed to do this season. And then it's their job to lose, and it's the other guy's job to beat them out and support them within those roles early on in these games, these exhibition games and these early preseason games. One of the preseason games that we have, our first game, which is on the road, it's against Point Loma University. They went to the NCAA championship game last year, were runner-up. So they're playing at a high level, and we have to play them at their place in San Diego. It's going to be a big game. It's going to be a huge test. The first game of the season. After our exhibition games against Simpson and Southern Oregon, I feel like we'll be ready